As our team prepares for the new season in the Nationwide Conference, just over 20 years ago York City were in the second division, which is of course now known as the Championship, playing the likes of Norwich City, Aston Villa and Manchester United. In the first in a series of interviews with stars from City's past, I went to Cotmanthorpe to speak to the goalkeeper from that era, Graeme Crawford. So Graeme, 280 appearances for York City in the 1970s. What are your fondest recollections of playing for York?
Basically the camaraderie, because we had a good set of lads. There was no stars in the team. Everybody played for everybody else, and basically going from the 4th division up to the old 2nd division, which was absolutely fantastic.
So you're our goalkeeper in probably our most successful period in our history. What was it like to be playing against the likes of Manchester United and Aston Villa?
It was fantastic. Initially you think to yourself, oh, it's quite frightening, but when you turn up against players like Shannon and Lou Macari and players like that, it raises your game. And we competed equally as well. And the first season we did really well, and the second season we were doing really well. And had we sort of strengthened the team a little bit in a couple of places, we'd probably still been there. But unfortunately, Tom Johnson left, and we went downhill from then on.
It must have been a very different York City then to how it is now.
Oh, well, very much so, because they say it's run by the Supporters Trust now and recently taken over. But previously, Tom Johnson was the manager, all the dealings were through Tom. We never ever met the directors apart from when they got on the coach, and that was it, they travelled to our games. But other than that, there was no involvement with them at all. We very much just went to the club, trained, played our games and came back, and that was it.
What are the games from that period that you really remember as kind of special occasions?
Obviously the cup ties against Liverpool when they got a penalty in the last minute when Kevin Keevan died. And if you ask Chris Toppin to this day, and I will back him up totally 100%, he did dive. There was no way that was a penalty. And obviously the game, the first game in the 2nd division against Aston Villa, the old 2nd division, and playing at Man United in front of 48,000. I know the crowds get bigger nowadays, but even then, and at Villa Park there was 46,000 when we played there. It was absolutely phenomenal.
Because for someone from my era, a bit younger, to me it's almost inconceivable that City could play at that kind of level.
Well, I think it surprised us as well, because we obviously, we had to apply for re-election in the 4th division then. We did that, and then Tom brought 1 or 2 players in. The team just gelled, and we just went from strength to strength. And I think, if my memory serves me right, the start of that season that we got promoted, we lost the first 2 or 3 games. We had a bit of a nightmare, and then we just went on a right run. And confidence obviously was high. And if we went a goal down, we knew we were never ever going to get beat, because we'd always come back.
So in the 1973-74 season, you kept a record of 11 consecutive matches with clean sheets, which equalled the record that was set by Millwall in 1926. You were unbeaten for 17 hours and 19 minutes. So what are your memories of that amazing run?
That was absolutely unbelievable. But that is sort of, I've got the record supposedly, but it was very much a team effort, because on 2 or 3 occasions the ball was going past me, and like Phil Burrows, the stalwart that he would turn up on the line, knock it off. And we had a lot of luck as well, because we had a couple, I think it was 2 or 3 penalties in that as well. And fortunately, I went the right way and saved them. So it was just one of those things, we were on a bit of a roll, the confidence was high. But the lads in front of me were very much part of that as well. And players like Chris Toppin, John Stone, Phil Burrows always got me out of trouble. And no doubt to this day they're still doing it.
And can you remember the goal that finally beat you?
Jack Howarth, yeah. He scored against us at Aldershot, and then he scored with a header again at Bootham Crescent.
So in 1977 you left the club to go to Scunthorpe. Was that a difficult decision to make?
It wasn't a difficult it was a difficult decision in the fact that I left York City, but I had stopped enjoying football, because unfortunately when Tom left, things moved on, and I always got on okay with Tom Johnson, but when they brought Wilf McGuinness in, although Wilf is a great bloke, as a manager I just didn't see eye to eye with him and didn't get on with him, and so much so that I stopped enjoying football. And in those days we didn't have any player power. The club held your registration, and I was asked to stay for another season, but there's no way I could, because I wasn't doing myself justice and I wasn't doing the club justice. And I was given 100%, but I wasn't performing as I should for York City, and unfortunately they were going to hold my registration, so I actually went out of football for about 6 or 7 months and just got a job working, and then the only option, it was a battle of wills really, and being stubborn like I am, it was will for me, and in the end I think he decided to cut his losses, and I went to Scunthorpe, and that was great because that revived my career, and I had a great 3 years at Scunthorpe, and then got the opportunity to come back to York. But when I did come back, there was changes as well, because Charlie Wright brought me back, and then Charlie got sacked and Barry Lyons became the manager, and Barry obviously, I haven't played with Barry, I could understand why he wanted to do things his own way, so and then I left there and went to Rochdale. But no, I had a great time at York, and got a lot of happy memories, and definitely got a soft spot for York City.
Football has changed a lot since your era when you played for City. Do you kind of feel any kind of not bitterness, perhaps, a bit disappointment that if you'd played in this era in the Championship now, you'd be earning silly money, really?
I'd probably be retired. No, well, the way that I look at it is, when we played, I'm glad I played when I played, because there wasn't the money in it. Okay, we weren't well played as players, but we still meet up now 30 years on, the same lads. We enjoyed our football, and in this day and age I can understand why players want £20,000, £30,000 if somebody's prepared to pay it. But when we did it, we played for the love of the game, not for the money. And I think that the money has sort of ruined it, so much so that I won't even have Sky Television in the house, because I think that the inception of Sky and all the money going to the Premier League has killed all the lower clubs, and that's what's happened to York as well.
You're still a regular visitor to Kit Kat Crescent. How do you think the team are going to do this coming season?
I think they will do well. Hopefully they get off to a good start. Billy McKeown's obviously doing it his way, and rightly so, and that's what managers should do. I think they will be successful. Say they were very unlucky last year. I think they'll have a bit more consistency. He's obviously made 1 or 2 good signs, and I think Tom Evans will make a difference, being an experienced goalkeeper. I think that they've got a good chance of going up. They'll certainly make the playoffs anyway, I would say.
Well, let's hope so, Graeme. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.